Hey, what a day. Today we are celebrating that I just survived another trip around the sun. It's my birthday. Um, and yeah, here's the thing. I'm not one to celebrate birthdays. I feel like some people, they're like, hey, it's my birthday month. And I'm like, really? Like, I love that for them, but it's just not me. But I did want to reflect back on like the idea of getting older. We make fun of women in their quote middle age, like I'm in my 40s. And when I was younger, you can't really foresee yourself being the age when you become middle aged. And then when you're in it, you're like, wait a second, these are actually the best years for many reasons. And today I want to talk to you about why now, if you are in your 30s or in your 40s or in your 50s, why you need to stop being good, why you need to stop apologizing, why you need to stop following somebody else's rules or the society's expectations of what it means for you to live the life you want to live, whether you're an entrepreneur or your mother or your partner. We grew up in under these conditions that there's expectations for us as women to follow. You got to be put together. You got to brush your teeth. You got to serve the food on special placemats and in china bowls. And I don't know, all these absurd things. I remember my mom telling me all these stories about how when she was growing up, her mother would put ketchup into a crystal bowl to serve for people to put on their hot dogs or their hamburgers, because that's just how she was raised. And so we end up having those conditions too, thinking that, hey, this is the way I was raised. This is the way that things should be. When we don't question it, we just kind of stay the course and we end up living a life according to how we were conditioned or according to someone else's standards. This is your time to shine right now, is to break away from expectations, break the rules, create your own rules, and lift others up on this journey. So I want you to promise me one thing at the end of this episode, is you're going to stop being the good girl. You're going to stop playing by the rules. You're going to stop following the speed limit of life and maybe go a little faster. Or, hey, take the slow lane. Who cares? Do what you want to do. Question for you is, what if I told you if, say, the age 44 is when women should start breaking the rules and not following them? What if I said that a midlife crisis isn't actually a crisis at all? It's a time for reinvention. It's a rebirth. It's a time to be a strategic rebellion. So a really quick story is why this all came about was when I was reflecting back on what it meant to be turning 44 years old. I had a lot of doubts. I should have done more. I should have wrote a bestseller. I should have made more money. I should have had a bigger team. All these should haves. If I've been an entrepreneur since I was 17, in the 30,000 foot view perspective, I probably should have been more successful at what I'm doing. But I also failed to realize the impact that I did make, the teams that I did employ, the children that I raised, the really cool things that I got to do with my family. And I can never disqualify the failures, the bumps in the road as being something that didn't contribute to the person that I've become today. I got a massive compliment from one of my dear friends, Kira. She sent me a voice note the other day and she said, Renee, I don't know what you're doing, but I see the confidence in you shine more than I've ever seen it before. And I feel it too. And when I reflect back on kind of how I got to this point in my life, I realized it has nothing to do with one thing. It's not like I just woke up one day and I was, screw everybody, I'm doing this myself. It was small incremental changes that happened over months and years. Months and years. First off, it was me being in an industry that I effing hated. I did not like the world of PR. And if you're in it, I'm sorry. I have mad respect for you. I did not enjoy the work. I enjoyed the strategy and I did not enjoy the expectations from the clients because I get it. And I said, I'm not going to be putting in this blood, sweat, and tears to grow somebody else's brand, to grow a personal brand or a business brand of somebody that I don't respect or a product I don't even use. Why am I doing this for somebody else when I can be doing it for myself? Or more importantly, I can be doing it to teach the women that I want to raise, the impact I want to create. So that's why I finally built the nerve to launch the Pink Skirt Project and have our first sellout event. And it was a home run. Our NPS score was 80, if you know anything about NPS scores. And it was these little micro doses of inspiration, of momentum, of wins that kept building that foundation of confidence. And when I looked back and I realized, gosh darn it, I was a rule breaker in all of this, because the rules were, here are the expectations, right? Like one was, oh, never start your first event with 300 people. Oh, most people with their first event, they get in the red or they barely break even. Most people's event is a sales event. And I was none of that. We were profitable. We profited $150,000 on this event. And I'm not ashamed to share that. I want to share that with you because I want you to know what's possible. We worked our butts off for that event. So to say that we made that money, damn right we earned it. Damn right we changed people's lives, the messages we still get today. Could not have happened if I did not build the confidence to be the woman that I am today, to survive the trauma and the stories that I survived, to be able to share this with you, and to reflect back on why now was the time for me to do this. So we're going to talk about women in their 40s just because that's how old I am, but this could be you if you're in your 30s or in your 50s. It doesn't matter. There is society has this BS narrative about women hitting an expiration date, right? You can no longer birth babies, so you're useless to society. Well, thousands of years ago, women didn't live long enough to actually reach perimenopause and menopause. For the most part, they died. And that's not us. That is not the reality of our life today. So I heard this the other day and I thought it was the most beautiful wisdom that, and I actually shared this with Dan too, that women aren't meant to be procreating for the rest of their life, unlike men, because we need to be able to instill that wisdom of motherhood onto the next generation. Because if we were too busy having babies, raising babies, we wouldn't be able to impart that wisdom onto others. So this position right now is like the most exquisite time, because we've hopefully built a foundation of wealth and health and friendships and are in a position where we have access to resources where we can comfortably go and pursue the things that we want to do, move to where we want to move, be with who we want to be with. I'm just hoping that this is the case for you. But the good woman trap is that we default to who is the default parent. We think that 50-50 is like the pressure from men now to contribute 50-50, yet still hold down the fort at home is absurd. That the idea for asking for what you want is wrong. I remember the first time I just said, enough is enough. And I started putting my foot down, like not in a mean way, but I just said no. And I was called a bitch because these people were not used to me saying no because I was a yes girl or maybe not now girl or I'll think about it girl. When I knew the answer deep down was no, I just said no. For instance, last night, my husband wanted to go out for dinner with friends of ours, and it was quite a drive for us. I'd say quite a drive, but it was 30 minutes. And he wanted somebody from the team to drive our kids up to our friend's house so that they can take one of the supercars to join us as opposed to them bringing their kids down. And like, it wasn't necessary for the kids to be shuffled. And he text message and he's like, hey, I just got a guy from the team to bring the boys up to their house and then we can all go down together. And I was like, I just said no. I go, no, it doesn't feel well. And you're complicating it. And the kids don't even want to do this. So no. And that was it. Like my literal response wasn't no, because blah, 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 blah. And my feelings, it was just no. Next message, no is sick. This complicates it. And he's like, yep, heard, got it. We always feel the need to like fluff things up. We can't just be forthright with how we feel about something because we're so afraid of offending somebody. So push that away, like blow that out now. Like stop for a second and tell yourself that you're going to start saying no more. One example for me is in terms of like this good woman energy it was really hard for me to accept help, let alone ask for it. Like we'll talk about this whole house manager thing at one point, but when I started to say, hey, yo, can you go do this for me? Like there's kids at the studio here. I had left something in my car and I was running out to get it. And I looked at one of the boys that had tossed him my keys and I said, "Hey, my car's on the fourth floor of the parkade. Could you go grab this for me?" He said, "Yep, sure, no problem." Went and came back 2 seconds. Like, I was so afraid to ask for help. First of all, I didn't even know it was an option to ask for help. And then when I did, I felt guilty. And now I'm just like, wait a second. This kid is 18 years old. He's getting paid well to work from the studio. And arguably the tasks that I'm working on might be moving the needle more than what he's doing. So it makes sense for him to go and get something from my car. It's just an example. So here's what actually changes when you stop being a, quote, good woman and you're following all the rules and you're making sure that your napkin's on your lap and the cutlery's in the right place and you're saying your P's and Q's. Like, here's what happens is that people literally pay you more in business. They pay attention and they pay you more. When you stop apologizing for your rates, when you stop apologizing for your expertise, when you downplay your credentials, people pay attention and they pay more because they look at you as this opportunity for liberty and freedom, thinking, oh my gosh, she's actually doing it. Holy crap, she charges $5,000 to $6,000 a year for her coaching program. How does she do that? How is she winning? You give women the opportunity to actually be free as well. So when you stop being the good woman, you get like 5 to 10 hours a week back because you're hiring an assistant or you're hiring a house manager. Or you're asking your significant other to pull their weight too. Others stop stepping all over you. Others stop taking advantage of you. When you say no, or not now, or that's not my thing, you should pass it on to so-and-so, or actually start telling your kids they got to start doing more around the house, people stop taking advantage of you. Like my son, one of them whines a lot, and he's 12 years old now, and he still sometimes has troubles falling asleep. And I was like, dude, like, I'm sorry, but you're at this age now where you can fall asleep by yourself. I'm not going to lay down with you. I'm done. Don't ask me ever again. If you're sick or there's something up, we'll chat, but it ain't happening anymore. And that was an adjustment for him. But guess what? Now he finds ways to fall asleep by himself because he no longer uses me as an excuse. He no longer thinks that I'm the pacifier to help him fall asleep. He's a little boy. He can figure it out himself. So here are the 10 rules that I broke this year that changed my life forever. Like, I know this. It changed my life forever. Number 1, and I talk about this a lot, rich girl energy. It means that you, not necessarily about having all the beautiful, expensive, wealthy things, although let me tell you, it is nice to have access to resources so that when stuff comes up, like you need, a first class lay down bed so that you can get sleep going over the ocean, like whatever you're flying, right? It's awesome to be able to afford those things. But rich girl energy is really all about allowing yourself to accept the fact that you deserve it. It's really not necessarily about the amount of zeros in your bank account, but you actually believing that it's yours and you deserve it. Because when I embodied this rich girl energy, I share the story about the first time my husband bought a supercar and I didn't believe that I deserved it. And I was embarrassed to be seen on it because my story about wealthy people was that they're greedy and they step all over people's toes and they must take advantage of others in order to be able to make that wealth is really a lack of abundance mindset. Because when we think, I know this, is that it's not like there's a finite amount of money in the world and it just keeps getting circulated. Money generates. Abundance is about that generation. Abundance is like you believe that you can achieve certain health and wealth and love goals. If you believe it, then you will achieve it. So for me, it was like, wait a second, I could actually be wealthy. I can have nice things and I can deserve it. The coolest thing is that, guess what? I can share this impact on others. I can inspire and influence other women to believe that they deserve it too, because when you get great money in the hands of great people, they can do great things. Okay? So the new rule is that women do not need to justify their desires. The rich girl energy is you deserve it too. So the next rule that I broke is the power of strategic no. And we already talked about this, but saying no to things automatically. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to have a big, long reason as to why. We just got back from a whirlwind vacation, and then we have family here, and I have friends like, I miss you. I haven't seen you all summer. Let's go meet. Like, I love that. My nervous system is tapped right now. I'm still with family, and I still have more family coming. I have to really prioritize who I am giving my energy to. And I know I have great friends that understand this. My great friends don't take it personally. If anything, they're showing up to support. But, those hikes or those morning coffees or a lunchtime catch up is like, for me, it's a no. And it's just, I say I'm in a season of no, lots going on. I'm sorry. And if they take it personally, that's on them. No is a complete sentence. I say it now to my kids, and it's amazing because they listen. They don't get away with as much crap anymore because I finally put my foot down. The third rule is refusing to be the default parent. I am still technically the default parent because they have an emergency contact. But the reality is that I don't sign up to be the everything for my kids. So we have a house manager, Betty. She'll take the kids to their dentist appointments, to get their haircuts, to go pick up socks, like all the things that you think, oh, that's a mother's role or maybe a father's role. I'm like, no, it's the village's role. We're all responsible for raising the children of the village, not just one human being. So I am refusing to always be the default parent. I told my husband last weekend when I was at a photo shoot Saturday morning, and I was like, hey, you got to go pick the boys up from there. They were at a mini soccer camp. And he's like, okay, just send me the details. And I go, yeah, it's already in your calendar of what time, where to go, all this. It's there. And it's that time, right? And I'm busy. I'm at the photo shoot and the phone's ringing and it's him. And I go, this is crazy. The default parent gets this call. And I answer the phone. I go, it's in your calendar. Everything I know is there. So everything I know, okay, I got to go. But if there's an issue, call me back. Because I'm not going to be the one that's going to put everything down for a simple thing. When you start creating those expectations of how people can treat you, it's going to be a little bit tough at first. This can be team members. This can be family members. It doesn't matter, but you have to lay down the foundation of not always being the default for the thing. The default parent translates to the default person in the office that does the thing, that fixes the fridge or the microwave, and it's not your role. Don't allow yourself to be that go-to guinea pig for everybody else's issues. Okay? When you look at parenting, its partnership means playing to strengths, not identical contributions. That's what I learned. Rule number 4 that I broke is the always available rule. I am not. Morgan, my assistant, and we shifted my calendar. I can imagine this if you're a super rich and famous person or just a famous person or an influencer. People want your time all the time. I get asked to be on podcasts. I get pitched to be on my show. I get asked to just go on lives and do all this stuff. And I used to say, yes, 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 yes. Now I'm just not always available. You can't get me on a Monday or a Friday because those are my catch-up preparation days. Fridays, I do my best to be with my kids in the afternoon. That's the goal. Actually, if you go and listen to my episode with Jillian Harris, she talks about how she breaks up her week, and I love it. I love it. And she sticks to her plan. So don't always be available because then you set those expectations that, oh, Renee will just get it. Renee will just get it. Renee will just do it. She always does it. And then you just say, okay, yeah, I get it. And then you just end up burning out because you don't want to always get it. So your new rule is that your urgency doesn't become my emergency. That's what you have to say to whomever. It's your urgency is not my emergency. Now, unless your leg is falling off, then I can help you. I can call for help, but it's actually not on me. Don't always be available. Rule number 5 is to stay humble. Appreciate where you came from. Appreciate that you wake up in the morning and you have your health and you have your house and you have your business and you have your team and you have your loved ones. Stay humble. Women are taught to always downplay their achievements. And how you started is actually talking, and like how to start all this about staying humble too, is talk about your wins. Like I grew a business to over $1 million with massive profit margins while having 2 babies. I launched a coaching program and we're already exceeding the number of customers in the program. We did a sellout event and we're highly profitable. Why can't I talk about this? Why can't I say, gosh, you can do it too? Staying humble is also like appreciating how far you've come. And this is like, also, I wrote this note down. It's the moment you stopped deflecting compliments. That's the moment you know that you stayed humble. When someone compliments something, you know what you say every single time? Thank you, and smile. That's it. You don't have to be like, oh, this old shirt, I got this at Old Navy in the sale bin. They don't care unless they ask. All you say is thank you. Humility is just internalized patriarchy keeping you small, right? So stay humble, my friend. Number 6 is be the emotional manager rule. Stop being that. It's not up to you. If you have young kids, maybe you help guide them. There's an automatic assumption that if you always smooth over awkward moments, you can never have those tough conversations. This year, I built up the confidence to have tough conversations with friends, with family, when there was an issue, saying, hey, this thing made me feel icky, or that thing that you said, can we talk about that? Like, if you can have tough conversations with people and know that they might be offended and they might not talk to you for a while, that's okay. At least you had it. Because you know what's worse is brewing resentment. Don't ever let that happen. So the new rule for me is other people's feelings are not my responsibility to manage. Like there's 2 things my kids are not allowed to stay at home. I'm bored, and that's not fair. Because their boredom is not my responsibility, and whatever reason they think something's not fair is my lesson to teach them what being fair is, but also it doesn't matter. Like it's not my responsibility anymore. They're older. Rule 7 that I broke this year is the don't talk about money rule. Like I grew up in a household where it was told that you don't talk about your money, you don't talk about how much you make, you don't talk about how much something cost. Why not? Why not? People can figure it out. Why not? Why not say, no, my paychecks this year were like $200,000 after tax. Why not talk about it? Because it's your money. It's no one else's business. But why not talk about how you can charge more for your business, or how you bought the nice car, or how, your goal is to make $1 million this year? Why not talk about it? Because it's considered tacky. It's considered selfish. You can't, why can't we talk about profit margins and ask the question, hey, how do I increase my profit margins by 10%? Why does it look like it's greedy? Because if you're doing that, then you're building a sustainable business. And when women build sustainable businesses, they employ more people, and it's great for the economy. Who gives a crap if you're making $1 million a year? Like that should be a great thing. You don't have to celebrate or share that all the time. You don't have to say, oh yeah, by the way, I made $1 million last year. That's how much I brought home. The point being is, let's talk about money more. Let's talk about how to make more, how to save more, how to give more back to the community. So my new rule around money is more money conversations are power conversations. Rule number 8 is the rule that I broke this year, is to always be likable. So where that shows up really is the always being likable for me is I always stopped trying to make sure no one was offended. I was like, got to protect my image by not offending somebody. And I learned this lesson really quickly, not that long ago, when I, shared a thing on Instagram, and it was like this funny little meme about, remember the instrument in grade 7 and 8 you played? It was the recorder, and it made the most horrendous sound. And I don't know too many people that went on to be a famous recorder player, and it may have been an instrument in some famous songs every now and then, but it was such a terrible sound because most kids couldn't play it, and it was screechy. Now, the reason why the school system used it was because they were cheap, it was affordable to replace, and you can get a lot of them, and it was easy to store, and kids could take them home and practice. So anyway, I made a comment about how terrible the sound was, because that's just my perspective. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. I just said I did not like the sound. And a woman commented saying that she was offended, that No, because like the meme was, I can't believe they taught us this in school when I don't even know how to pay taxes or something like that. She's like, how dare you talk about lack of music, and the music education is just as important as financial education. And Renee, you're an influencer, so you should be careful what you share online. And I'm like, dude, wow. Because I only said how annoying the noise was of the recorder. Like that's it. And so in those moments, it doesn't matter what you say. Like if you say, I like the color purple, then the people who like the color pink will be offended. So like my late friend Rachel Luna says, give yourself permission to offend because it doesn't matter. You can't make everybody happy, which also means don't always try to be likable. Because if you're always trying to be likable, guess what? You're living a life according to someone else's standards. So the new rule is you need to respect yourself more than trying to be liked. So the rule number 9 that I broke is to prove yourself twice as hard. Oh gosh, right? Being a woman, being a female entrepreneur, there's this stigma that we have to prove ourselves twice as hard to be taken seriously. My default is silliness, goofiness, jokes, puns. Like I love that. That's just my energy because I like to have that like fun, outgoing energy. And that's actually the thing that my husband loves the most about me. But what happens is I grew up understanding that to be respected in business means that you have to not have those qualities. It means you have to say big words, understand everything on a spreadsheet, never ask stupid questions. So most of the time I would just sit there quiet because I couldn't be myself. And I finally said, listen, I've got a lot to lose, but I have nothing to lose at the same time. I'm going to start showing up just as me and see how that goes. And this year was that year. And when I started showing up just as me, more women were like, Renee, you're relatable, you're authentic, I love you. See, it is so much easier to just show up as yourself. So I'm not going to prove myself twice as hard because I have something to prove. I am me, and that's proof enough. The last one, number 10, is the rule I broke was the punish your body rule because I grew up, I did CrossFit crazy for 10 years. Like I'm talking 6 days a week, annihilated my body, dislocated collarbones, like sprained stuff, skin knees, and it was, I pushed myself so hard and I realized that I was not gaining muscle and my body composition wasn't changing that much because I was putting my body under so much stress. And I thought that was the only way to get fit and to be healthy. So I realized after studying Stacey Sims that it was more about movement and doing fewer reps, but heavier reps, which is the opposite of CrossFit. CrossFit is as many as you can do, as heavy as you can do, as fast as possible. That's not what my body needed. So when I finally accepted the fact that to be fit didn't mean I had to do CrossFit, it could mean other things, was I was like, I'm not punishing my body anymore. I'm going to lift heavy and I'm going to do cardio, but I'm going to do it so that it's not making my body want to puke, because the last CrossFit workout I did a month ago, I felt like I was going to die. So these are the rules, all these rules that I broke, and I created new ones to create this new version of Renee that now is more confident, now is more fun. I'm actually like enjoying the work that I do because I decided this is what I want to do and how I want to do it. So the sheer responsibility of all of us to have to break rules comes down to you, comes down to me. You have to be the example for other women to give them the permission to do the same. Here's what I want you to do. A little breaking rule assignment is identify one of these like good women expectations that you have that you know that you shouldn't be doing, and then just completely annihilate it. Practice maybe saying no without explanation this week is a great one. It could be with your kids, your husband, a colleague. Don't be like, no, like a jerk, but just say no. And that's a complete sentence. And then ask for one thing that you want without justifying why you deserve it. For me, it's like the other day I asked, hey, Dan, do you mind if the next 2 weeks we ask Betty to come in 8 to 4 as opposed to her 10 to 6 schedule? Because I'm most productive in the morning and that's when I need the most help. And he goes, no, because at the end of the day, we debrief. And like, that doesn't happen that often. And I said, okay, well, how about we do 2 days a week then? So I'm not explaining why I deserve it. I'm telling him why I need it. And it worked out. So I'd love to know, direct message me on Instagram, Renee_Warren. What is one rule that you're ready to break? Go and break it, because as you build this confidence and you start building a life on your terms, it just becomes incrementally easier to break all these rules. And if you want the show notes for this episode, you can click on the link below. You can go to reneewarren.com and click on podcast. Until next time, ladies, peace out.